What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and today we are going to be trying to decide whether I should purchase this property. Now, it's a little bit of a tricky situation because this was actually my grandparents' house. Now, the reason that it's tricky is there are multiple families involved, and so we wanted to get a market analysis of this property so that I don't end up underpaying for the property. And the reason we're doing this is the whole family's involved, so if there's money to be made on the property, then we're gonna have to figure out another option. That's why we brought Luke. Luke today is going to be our unbiased opinion. Garrett is going to be our biased opinion, and we're gonna try and do a market analysis of the property so that we know how much I need to pay for it. We're gonna run through the numbers, but more importantly, we're gonna see what the price is that I should need to pay for this property and then decide if it's worth it. So with all of that being said, let's jump into it.
Let's jump into it.
All right, guys, we're gonna dive into the tour, run through the numbers, all of that good stuff. Just remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell so that you can catch all the future videos, because we will be doing multiple videos on this house and on multiple other properties to show you how to build a passive income through investing in real estate. And if you want to get started right now, you can pick up my course down, link in description. You can get $50 off, and it's going to show you everything you need to know to start investing in real estate. With all of that being said, we're just going to roll into things. Just so you guys know, the families all have a great relationship. I just want to make sure that we do this fairly so that if I do pick up this property, it's not at a huge discount, because if we can get it at a huge discount, then I want to make sure we kind of split the wealth. However, it was on a reverse mortgage, and because of that, they're asking an amount for us to pay to be able to get ownership of the house, or they're just going to take it to the market because the bank owns it. All right, guys, before we jump too far into the tour and figuring out what this place is worth, I wanted to explain what a reverse mortgage is. And essentially how it works is you get to a point where you're older, you have some equity in the home, but you don't want to continue paying your mortgages. And as a matter of fact, you can actually set it up where you either get payments monthly or you get a lump sum. And I'm not going to dive into it a ton, but essentially you are getting money out of it, but you're losing ownership of your property. So by turning over the property, usually the bank can win because the property is going up in value and you're giving up some equity that you have so that you can get quick money or money over a period of time, and you can continue to live in the place until you end up passing away or having to move out of the home because of health or other things. So that was the situation my grandparents were in, and I remember it being beneficial for them because I think they got a lump sum. I'll probably do more on this situation in the future and give you more details on their specific situation. However, going into the tour, that's why we're in this place, is now the bank is saying, hey, if the family wants to purchase the home, they can do it for this amount. And so we're gonna do this tour and try and figure out what the home is worth and if it's worth paying the amount and how much of a gap is there so that I can make sure I make it a fair situation for the other family members. So now that you know that, we're just gonna walk through the property and see what you guys think it's worth. There are 3 bedrooms upstairs, 1 bedroom, potentially 2 on the main floor, and then 1 bedroom, actually it could be 2 bedrooms in the basement. And it's actually a really cool story. My grandpa is a carpenter. Originally, the house stopped at these stairs. So he did a massive addition on the house. So it used to be like, I think like a 1-bedroom house. And they've added on a ton over the years. So Luke, being the guy that he is, you did your research on the property. Maybe give us the rundown of what you found before coming to check it out.
Yeah, so anytime I ever go to a house like this, I always like to have a little bit of information, because a lot of times a homeowner doesn't know exactly how many square feet they're on. They estimate, they don't know what year it was built. So just to kind of get my bearings about me, the home's 3,850 square feet according to the county, built in 1920 originally. And like you had mentioned, the add-ons, I think it mentioned 1980s was when some of the add-ons were done. So, a home like this sometimes can be a little bit of a challenge, is to know like how to compare it, because there's really not an actual build date as opposed to a normal home that you can say the whole thing was built in a single year. So.
Right, well, and you mentioned for this area, this is a lot of square footage.
Yeah, 3,800 square feet in the number streets is enormous.
It's like 3 times as big as normal.
It really is. I looked at what has sold in the last couple of years to just kind of get an idea of what sold. I don't think anything sold that's 30. I think there was some at like 3,500 square feet, but 3,800 square feet is an enormous house.
Yeah, were they including the garage in that 3,800?
As far as I know, no. Not the way the county does it is they'll separate the garage and the living space. So it said 3,800 square feet. I always go to Google too if there's ever a question, and I'll actually just do the measurement tool on the roof line, and it showed that the roof line was 1,900 square feet. Wow. So assuming that there's upstairs and downstairs, I kind of assumed that that was accurate when I looked that up.
Now to go to my biased opinion, what research did you do?
You know, I drove around the block once. The block looks nice.
You didn't even actually drive around it.
No, I did. I was here. Direct quote, classic Chandler Smith. Those of you who don't know this guy on a personal level. Hey, Garrett, be there at 10:30 sharp. Garrett rolls in at 10:20. Chandler rolls up at 10:45.
It was 10:38. So this is actually the living room. And my grandma, we kind of give her a hard time because she was a carpet hound. So she loved different carpets. You'll notice almost every room has a different kind of carpet. Well, and for those of you that don't know, this is not good on insurance.
My grandparents had a wood-burning fireplace, and we started a fire in it, and then everything fell out on the carpet.
Yeah, probably why insurance is a little higher. This is another like master suite. Usually they just had it for guests when they'd come over.
So he built most of this stuff then, huh?
Yeah, yep, they did the whole addition. He did great work, but also like they were very financially conscious, so a lot of the stuff he would collect over time before then using it to build a house. So
People back in the day could figure stuff out
They
without
could,
YouTube.
man. Yeah.
Imagine building a house without YouTube.
So at what point does everyone just come in and say, all right, let's just...
They're in the process. A lot of this stuff has been broken up into piles already, but we literally are right in the middle. Like the reason it transitioned is there's a timing on the reverse mortgage, and we weren't sure if my grandpa would have to stay in where he's at or want to come back into the home. And now it's at the point where he's not coming back. And so, you know, just in the last little bit, we've come in and divided everything up.
So this is all just recent.
Yeah. So when it was sitting here for a year, it wasn't sitting like this, if that makes sense. This has all been, you know, families coming in trying to get it cleaned up when we're in the middle of that process. So this, and you guys will have to let me know what you think. I think I can frame this and turn it into a duplex. There's actually a door right here that lets you in from the back. And then this is all storage. So that's straight up dirt. Does that seem weird to you? Yeah.
The biggest problem is moisture coming in through there, but because this isn't necessarily an exterior wall, it's not ideal, but you're a lot less likely to get water coming in through there. You definitely want to have somebody come in and remedy the problem.
So food storage. My grandma was the best at it, and nobody wanted any of it, it looks like.
Did you find a bottle of vodka in here?
No, it's not Grandma Smith. And then believe it or not, growing up, I actually did preschool down here for a little bit. So it opens up into like a preschool room over here. It's weird though, because it feels so tiny when it used to feel so big. It's kind of funky.
And you really haven't gotten that much bigger either.
I know, you're not wrong. Funny story for you guys. I wanted to get bulked up for football season my like 9th grade year. So I asked for a total gym for Christmas. And this is my Christmas total gym from when I was in 9th grade, believe it or not. It kind of worked.
Did you get jacked?
You know, more than I was, but not as much as I expected.
Chandler was that kid in high school who was actually pretty yacked. It was all bark, no bite though.
Come check out this treadmill.
That's actually pretty cool.
Sweet. There's no way you could run on this thing.
It's more of a walker, I think.
So you want to turn this into a duplex down here?
I'm thinking that that's probably what I would do.
It's definitely your best use of space.
It looks a lot worse than the shape it's in, but with that being said, when you're at your grandparents' house, especially when she keeps it so nice and clean, you don't realize the age. Like, this is an old property, so.
One thing too is when you're a kid, you're really not going into a lot of houses. You don't really know that there's a different kind of heat source. Like ceiling cable heat was how you heated your house, and you didn't know how it worked. You just turned the dial.
I mean, obviously it was really hard having my grandma pass away, and it's been a couple years now. Really hard seeing my grandpa go through that process of ending up in a home. But then, you know, there was this long gap where I didn't come over here because he hasn't been here. And so then it's like, all right, what is that place worth? Like, I gotta go walk it. I've been here thousands of times, but I gotta walk it and look at it as an investment property or a property to purchase rather than like grandma's house. Yeah.
If you found something on the numbered streets right now for 90 bucks a square foot, that's a heck of a deal compared to going out and buying a new home for 150 a square foot or 140 a square foot.
With that being said, I think the other struggle you run into in this area is the fact that like you've got a lot of multifamily right here, all of the homes on this street. For a rental property area, they're decent, but for like renovating, flipping a home, I don't think you'd want to drop 50 to 100.
It's starting to change though.
It is.
Because people can't afford to, like your average Idahoan can't afford to live other places. I was reading this thing last night and this guy was ranting about our home prices and he was like, where are the Idahoans that can afford $2,500 a month? He's like, I don't know anyone that makes that much money. And it's true. It's like most Idahoans who have been here for 20 years don't make that much money. It's the people moving in. So I think your old, you know, people we went to high school with, they're buying in places like this because it's cheaper.
Yeah. 8 years ago they could have went and bought a brand new house or a newer house, and now
you buy something like this and
you have to take a step back. Problem is there's just like very few homes even for sale that are, a house hits the market 180,000 and 20 offers later and 2 days later it's most likely sold for cash to an investor.
Yeah.
Flipping investors.
Dirty booger.
So, believe it or not, I actually helped put. Believe it or not, I actually helped put that roof on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Let me see if this works. I'm guessing it won't, but you can look right here and see it. Pressure's on, Luke. Yeah, it's cute.
I'm just trying to impress you guys when it's not working.
Grandpa Smith knew how to build the door. All right, well, that's the whole place. The only actual yard is this little portion.
Hey, get this on camera.
So, what is the verdict? You guys tell me what you think this place is worth.
I think it's worth 300,000.
300,000?
Not far off. I mean, we're in a market right now where it kind of varies a lot in numbered streets because you have homes that are in really good shape that have been updated and fixed up, and then you have homes that have just been, you know, let go, and there's just so much deferred maintenance. So 300 is not too far off. I think a person could get maybe a little bit more, even with a little bit of work, you know, some paint, a little bit of carpet. But as it is, you know, 300, and I wouldn't be surprised at 300 if the property were to hit the market. It would get multiple offers on it just because of the market we're in right now.
And it's livable. Like, yeah, you can fix it up and do a lot of things to it, but it's livable, a little clean, and it's totally fine.
Same with a lot of the colored carpet upstairs. Like, it's still in great shape. I personally don't think I would change it, but what is your opinion? Would you turn it into a duplex? Would you rent it as a single family home? The other thing, as a rental, I've also got a very large garage that I think you could get $1,000 out of renting the garage. I think that upstairs you could probably get between $1,200 and $1,400, and downstairs probably $600. So now you're looking at maybe being able to rent it for $3,000 a month, which makes a lot of sense as a rental for me.
I think it makes a lot of sense as a duplex. The problem with including the basement with the main level is that you're not going to get an extra $600. You're not going to be able to rent the entire house for, you know, $2,000. Mm-hmm. I just don't think that's in anybody's wheelhouse to be able to afford that, and so to split it up, and nor does anybody really ever expect to rent 3,800 square feet either.
Yeah, they don't need.
It's just a ton of square footage.
Yeah. Well, and you've got a very clean, I mean, you've got a door downstairs that goes outside. You've got tons of parking in the back and on the side. It's laid out to be a really good duplex. We would have to dig under the deck because you have to scrunch down to get under the deck. So I would dig out and then put stairs that go up into the parking area.
The parking too is a good point because the city,
you have to have 2 spots per unit.
I believe so. So in fact, I'm going through this situation on a property that we manage. He wants to create a 5th unit, and the city says, well, you can't create a 5th unit because you don't have enough parking, but you can take the 4th and 5th unit and combine them into one, and then that's considered a grandfather type process, you know, project. But in this situation where this driveway is kind of your saving grace, in my opinion, I think, because you have parking here, parking there, and the city probably would allow, I mean, that would be the big question, and that would be something you'd have to run by the city before they'd allow you to move forward with converting it down there.
All right, guys, we have come to the end of the tour, and I was able to get the value. And so I just want to thank Garrett, per usual, for being the guy that shows up with not a whole lot of information, but you did bring some great humor to the
I
situation.
definitely look good. I bring some energy.
And then Luke, thank you so much for giving us an analysis of things. I think you actually both landed close to the same place on what you thought it was worth. Just to give both these guys a shout out, both of them are realtors in the area, so they bash heads. Right? No.
Luke's the goat. I just do Chandler's dirty work.
Garrett actually uses Luke to manage his properties. So Luke is doing tons of deals in the area. He also has a property management company that does an incredible job. And so if you're looking for either of those things, I would definitely push you towards Luke because he does awesome. So we'll put a link for, you've got a website or something we can link below?
Yeah. It's the name of the company is Pro Manage, and then the website's just promanageIdaho.com.
So we'll put a link down below. And if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell so you can catch the future videos where my goal is to help you to build a huge passive income. And on top of that, if you want to learn more about how to invest in real estate, we've included the link below. You can get $50 off on the real estate investing course, and that's going to show you step by step how to invest in properties so you can build that huge passive income. So thanks so much, guys. Have a great day.